Does it hurt? Does it smell? Does it spill? Does it slip? There are gazillion questions whenever a woman moves to using menstrual cups, or when she's in the transition period of going from pads to cups. There are so many questions that all of us have, and I'm sitting with 3 experts on sustainable menstruation practices, and we are going to try and answer many of those questions today. So I have with me fitness expert, youth icon and socio-environment activist Vanita Ashok. Vanita has inspired and motivated many people to start using cups through the different sessions that she takes. We also have with us Dr. Aruna Murlidhar, who is a senior consultant OBGYN at Fortis La Femme Hospital. She specializes in high-risk pregnancy, adolescent health and sustainable menstruation. And we have with us Smita Kulkarni. Smita is a techie turned activist turned entrepreneur. So she is particularly passionate about spreading the word on sustainable menstruation. She's the co-founder of the company called Stone Soup, which offers sustainable menstrual solutions to women. So let's dive into, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, first of all. And I'll dive in with a very personal disclaimer that I personally have not moved to menstrual cups. So I've been on the fence for a long time. I keep thinking about it, but there are so many questions and doubts, like I said, and I just keep thinking about it every month, and I'm going on using pads and I feel bad about it. So my personal motivation through this discussion is to be convinced by the end of it that I should move to using menstrual cups or some form of sustainable menstrual product. So before moving into the questions, I'll just move one question right out, which I think I know, is that no, the cup will not get lost somewhere inside you. So we'll come back to that in a bit. So we'll start with you, Smita. One of the many common questions, other than this getting lost, one of the many common questions is the discomfort. Will there be discomfort? Will there be pain when I'm trying to insert the cup? So what's your answer to that?
No, the cup, like I said, is invisible. You don't feel it. It's like, it's not even there.
Okay.
So yeah, initially while inserting, if you're trying for the first time and you're all nervous and all stiff, you might have problems in inserting. So all we have support groups to coach people to use the cup. And the first advice for any question is relax. Take 3 deep breaths.
Okay.
There's enough lubrication during periods for the cup to go in. It doesn't hurt at all.
Okay.
And once it is inside, you don't feel it at all. In fact, the most striking disadvantage of the cup is that you have to remind yourself that you are menstruating, and you have to empty it every 12 hours at least.
Okay, that's a good information. Have to empty it at least 12 hours.
Yes.
Within at least 12 hours.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So Dr. Aruna, what's wrong with the pad that I'm using right now? A general pad, not biodegradable, not nothing. A general pad that I'm using. What's wrong with that, and why should I then move on to a cloth pad or a cup?
Surely. Firstly, thanks a lot for having us here at Better India, and we really hope that this video will make a difference to many of women like you who are sitting on the fence. So essentially, the sanitary pads that we know, the various companies which I don't have to disclose the names of, are made of various chemicals. I mean, not in a particular order, but generally when you see the cotton, it's not as white as a sanitary pad would be. So obviously some sort of bleaching agent is being used. Also, the absorbent capacity of a pad is through the gel foam which is provided, again a combination of several chemicals. Even styrene, which is in rubber tires, is used in sanitary pads. So essentially when you look at the composition of a sanitary pad, it has various chemicals which can cause damage or harm to the body in various ways. So other than just physical rubbing, chafing, and the smell, the horrible smell that women obviously face when they don't change a pad for a long time, is because the menstrual blood is coming in contact with the air.
Okay.
So, and also there are infections, vaginal infections like bacterial vaginosis, some urinary infections, and even yeast infections which can develop with the prolonged use of pads and because of the menstrual blood being sort of irritant there. Okay. In particular, bacterial vaginosis is known to be common amongst pad users. It's basically a change of the vaginal pH from an acidic to a basic pH, essentially, to be very simple. So in order to get rid of all these health problems related to repeated pad use, I think alternate menstrual products are really in vogue, and they should be promoted. As far as the benefits of these are concerned, for example, this is a menstrual cup, and you can see that it's really supple and extremely flexible, right? And it's made of medical grade silicone. of which, you know, the urinary catheters that we use, the catheters that we use for a bypass surgery and, you know, angioplasty, etc., they're all made of medical grade silicone. Right. So they're very inert on the body. Right? And as Smita rightly said, the menstrual blood itself is a wonderful lubricant. So if you try to put it in when you're not menstruating, you might find it difficult. Right. But when you're menstruating, it just slips through like magic. Right? And because of the, you know, the capacity of it, you don't have to change it as often as pads. Right. Because pads tend to get soaked quite quickly with a little amount of you know, blood, whereas this holds almost about 23 to 26 ml of blood and can be emptied. So typically a menstrual period, the whole of the menstrual period, those 5 or 6 days or even 4 days, would be less than 80 ml for the whole period, you know, the blood loss. Right. This holds about 26 ml, so you can imagine, even once in 12 hours would be fine. People like me who have heavy bleeding may have to empty it a little more frequently, maybe every 4 hours, but essentially it's put it in and be reassured that the vaginal muscles will do the rest. Okay, they'll keep it in place. Right. They'll keep it in place exactly where the neck of the womb is. So it'll cause a vacuum suction there. There's no contact with air, so the blood is just directly getting collected into the cup. Right. And when you feel the wetness, when you feel the leakage starting, you feel a bubbling kind of sensation. And all we have to do is try and feel the bottom of it, press it a little, release the vacuum, empty the cup at the toilet and put it back again. Right? I don't think we need to talk about folding techniques because there's so many videos available online regarding various folds to use. But I think women like you should start off at some point of time. I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, you have. So Vanita, since you are a fitness expert, there's a lot of conversation on how during my first 3 days of periods, I won't go to the gym because I'm wearing a pad, there's so much sweating, there's so much chafing, I don't want all of that. So the fitness has gone down the drain, 3 days, you're just sitting at home. So the advantages of using a cup and going to the gym.
Okay.
Also, just to add to that, one of the questions that I got from one of our team members, that she felt that her cramps reduced after using cups. Now, we are not sure if that happened because the cup, or was it just a change in the body?
Okay, thanks so much for having me over. Better India it is, and I'm hoping right after this video goes viral, you know, people like you, youngsters like you will make a change and get this, you know, place a better one. Okay. Yes. You know, you usually get a lot of messages during a month. I'm going through my monthly cycles. I will be unable to come for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. And because they find it, you know, uncomfortable to work out, the discomfort, and they're not very, you know, happy working out. You know, the C also, you know, they don't want you know, it to be visible also. So the cup is like vanishing inside them. So nobody even ever will know. Okay, nobody will ever know. It's very comforting, and you know, they can definitely exercise, and you know, like you said, the cramps will come down. That's what others have also mentioned it to me. The cramping has come down drastically comparatively. Yes, it is good to work out, and you know, like, you know, imagine PT Usha is running a marathon, I mean, sorry, Olympic, and she says, I'm sorry, I have my monthly cycles, I'm not going to do this.
Or can you shift the date of the Olympics?
So it's not possible. Of course, you can work out and it removes the toxins, you know. I think doctor would be able to tell a little more.
Yeah, to be honest, as a gynecologist, I get these questions a lot. So I make it a point to keep them in my chamber, and I show them the various, you know, folds. And if they are having a period, I have no disgust in actually demonstrating to them, and that makes sense because, you know, that's when we need to show them how to use it. The other thing is, I myself have been a cupvert, by the way, for about 1.5 years now, and it's a really liberating feeling, thanks to Smita and many more who are, you know, entrepreneurs in this field. But it's liberating in the sense that it's literally liberating. And I've taken to running, so I run with this group, you know, runners group, and even during my periods, like Vanita rightly mentioned, there's no chafing, there's no that, you know, something between my thighs kind of a feeling, and it's really nice, you know, the run, it makes it,
you can do a high knee, you can run, you can slide.
Absolutely, that's right.
So Smita, this is another question that we got from our readers, that cleaning a menstrual cup in a public bathroom. Now, if I'm traveling, I have no option but to clean it in a menstrual cup, and it can be weird, it can be embarrassing at times. So how does one tackle that?
No, it is not. I mean, all when traveling, we all carry, you know, our drinking water, or we have a cap full of water. So that is all is needed to clean it. A cap full of water. You know, and if you don't trust the water there, like if you're traveling somewhere and it's like a remote place and you don't know, you don't trust the water there, you just empty the cup and insert it back and wash your hands with that water.
Don't need to wash it.
Don't need to wash the cup with that water.
Okay. Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
And like she said, the capacity of the cup is roughly about 3 times that of the pad. So mostly, you know, most regular bleeders will empty once in the morning while taking bath, once at night before sleeping.
Right.
So you can just be out and about.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Yes, I think Dr. Aruna, my next question you've already answered. If you had anything to add to that. So we talk about plastic being in the pads and how it harms the body. So but the material used in the cups, is it okay for the body?
Yes, yes, it's medical grade silicone, as I already mentioned.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to mention was, see, there are concerns about the cups kind of going very deep in, and is it easily retrievable? These are the common questions that I get. Do they go so deep in that I can't retrieve it? Secondly, does it cause a situation called endometriosis, a condition called endometriosis wherein the blood backflows, you know, the menstrual blood backflows? And the third question I get is regarding the use in women who've delivered, right?
Okay, yeah.
So, and also virgins, right? So let me answer the first question. The first question is about retrievability. So essentially you see that it's about this size, right? So those who are, you know, sexually active, married, etc., you can easily sort of put in and feel it, right? Okay, so you can put in your fingers as far in. There are also other cups available with a little knob here, and the knob helps locate it, but essentially people do tend to pull at the knob, and that's not the right thing to do. Because what happens is, the vacuum suction has to be released first. So we need to press the cup a little and then remove it. But if you pull at the knob, then it tends to pull the cervix down a bit because the vacuum suction is not gone yet. I mean, the vacuum effect is still there. So that is very important to understand, that there are 3 holes in there. So when you press it, the vacuum is released and then we can easily remove it. It makes sense. So you can get our fingers far in. So you can imagine that even tampons, for that matter, although they do have a string, they do go far in, and the tampons typically are about this size. So please don't worry about retrievability. Secondly, about use in endometriosis, right? No, that doesn't work that way. In fact, there is no way this menstrual blood which is already collected here can backflow. Because essentially it is just sitting there, it's not really in direct contact with the cervix, and the cervix has its own mechanisms of keeping it out, right? And thirdly, about use in virgins, that is completely their choice. Once they're adults, more than 18, they make their choices themselves. I mean, and once they've tried it, they might find it very, very useful, convenient. But somebody who's not yet 18 and, you know, if parental advice is required, I would say it's up to the parents to discuss it with their daughters, right? But there's no harm in using it in virgins. The only thing is the discomfort that the parents and the children, you know, the girls have about it. So I leave it to the adults to decide. About postpartum use, that is after delivery, we don't recommend it as gynecologists because the blood has to, sort of free flow, completely flow easily. And also the important thing to understand is the vagina is very lax. If someone has had a normal delivery, the vagina is quite lax, so it might not have the muscle tone to keep it in. So basically we don't recommend it immediate postpartum. But once they reach 6 weeks post-delivery, they certainly can get back to it.
Okay, great. So that brings me, Vanita, to you. So if we talk very practically about the feasibility, right? There isn't much time if just talking about cloth pads. I'm washing it every day, I'm drying it myself. I'm not very sure about if I'm doing it well or not. Is there no chance of an infection while using cloth pads maybe?
Yeah, you know what, you have to air it well, and it has to see the sunlight.
Right.
So if that is not happening, then I would suggest go for cups. Cups don't need to be aired. You know, you just need to sterilize it. So the best way to sterilize it is either microwave it, or you have a own, a separate vessel for this where you just put it in boiling water. You know, that's about it, and you're done. So it's any day better. You know, of course, these pads, you know, when you see them, these are environment friendly and comes with a plastic shield, and you can get it back home too. Okay, and this, you know, like you can fold it conveniently and bring it back. Okay, and then wash it up. But then again, when you're drying it, it has to be out there. The sunlight. So I would say first go for this. This should be your first option. All right, because you know, I was talking to my daughter about it, and she said, "Mama, we are still using water for this. This requires water." So she is also very sensitized about environment,
Yeah.
and she says this would be my option.
Right.
Right? Yes.
Right.
Having said that, my daughter is using cloth pads, and
Because she's 13.
no, I know. What
Yeah,
I'm saying is,
yeah,
she
yeah.
doesn't crib about having to wash her pads or anything. And of course, she doesn't wash it completely. She just rinses it once and then puts it to the remaining load in the washing machine.
Oh, okay.
So it's washing is not the big thing. Yeah.
Right. Okay. That brings me also to the options, right? Now, size options. There's a lot of confusion about what size of cup do I use. So, Smita, how do I choose what size? There's so many sizes.
So every woman is unique,
Yeah.
but our vaginas are the same. So so actually most cups work for most women.
Okay.
All the sizing thing and all is a big marketing
there's a lot of
thing,
measuring
and people are just taking the time to think about it.
Yeah.
First they say that I'm not sure about the cup, and then say I'm not sure about which size to take. That's why I'm delaying the decision.
Yeah.
But most cups work for most women.
Okay.
So inside, like she said, the vagina is an elastic organ. It holds onto the cup. When you remove it, shrinks back.
Okay.
So there is no sizing as such,
Right.
and there is all of 3-inch space inside. It won't get lost inside, but at the same time there is this much space.
Right.
So it can be anything which is less than this. 3 inches is all you have to look for.
Right. Okay. So now about the coming back to the environment bit. So there was this thing I was reading, 2011 census. There are about 370 million women in the age group of 10 to 50. So whatever amount of pads they're using, there's an estimated amount of 18,500 tons of waste that we are generating during our menstrual cycles, and that's huge. So I wanted to understand what happens at the end of the life cycle of a menstrual cup. How does it affect? Like it goes into the landfill, and then what?
So a woman uses about 6,000 pads in her lifetime,
Yeah.
typically.
Right.
I'm talking of regular flow woman.
Yeah.
So by that calculation, she would use 3 cups in her lifetime if she were to shift to, So it's like 6,000 pads versus 3 cups.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, it's rubber.
Yeah.
It's silicone.
Okay.
So even if it goes to the landfill, it's inert. It won't leach toxins into the soil or
Okay, so it won't harm the environment at the end of the day.
yeah.
So I think you guys have answered most of my questions. One question that I got again from a user is that a gynac told her that it's better if she goes to using cups after she has had a baby because the vaginal the muscles will relax, and that will help her get over the discomfort that you feel before that. So is that a myth, a reality?
No, as I said earlier, once you're an adult, you make a choice. And in fact, the tone of the vagina is much better even before a lady would have, had her first child. So if a person is sexually active, it's fine. If a person has been menstruating, for a few years, it's fine. So you don't have to wait to have your first baby to sort of use these menstrual cups.
Okay. So lastly, if you had to give
We know a lot of adolescents who are using it.
Okay.
Yes.
And we know a lot of, specifically people into sports, like my friend's daughter is into gymnastics.
Right.
So she was missing her classes a lot during, because of the days.
Yeah.
So she switched to the cup, and though initially it took her some time, like I said, all she had to do was relax. When she was, little relaxed and laughing and in a casual mood, it just went in.
Oh, wow.
After that, it's been, she's been
No
using
looking
it.
back. No looking
No
back.
looking back.
All the users have said the
So
same
you
thing.
only said, there's a colleague in your office who's using it, and she is like non-stop talking about it. So every cup user is standing on the rooftop and screaming about it. And that's the only way this movement has spread.
Nice. So if I'm not wrong, so a cup lasts for 10 years ideally, and a cloth pad for about 3 years? 3 to 4 years.
3 to 4 years, yes.
Yeah. So we love saying it, Yeah. We love saying it at our forums on sustainable menstruation that they are rash-free, they are trash-free, and they're almost cash-free.
Oh yes, of course, you're saving so much money. I was actually going to ask you guys to give us one line if you want to transform people like me into using cups. So I think Dr. Anwar, you have already given a very perfect line. Smita, you have to add something to that?
Yeah, I mean, forget all the environment, health benefits, economic benefits and all that. You should do it for the sheer comfort.
Right.
You don't even feel that your period days are any different from your regular days. How awesome is that?
Right. Okay. And Vanita?
Just embrace it, dear. Okay. You will see a big difference in your life. And you know what? You are going to become an activist, and you're going to tell everybody to use the cup.
Awesome.
I'm going to give you that promise.
Okay, so these 3 ladies have spoken a lot about menstrual cups, and I feel that maybe if not this cycle, next cycle for sure, I'm going to try menstrual cups, definitely. But I'm definitely away from the fence, a little bit away from the fence, and I hope this has inspired all of you guys who are watching as well, and I hope you can get a chance to adapt these methods and take all the advantages that they bring into your life and change your life, as so many women have told me. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you ladies for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.